Okay, what is up, my beautiful people? My name is G-Vance and welcome back to my channel, and it is time to review the new GoldLink album, Haram, or is it Aram? Um, I don't really know if I'm pronouncing it right. Um, I'll just I'll just refer to it as GoldLink referred to it in on Instagram. He pretty much gave us this album cover on Instagram and literally said, "It's a vagina." I'm not even fucking around. I don't know what the fuck this man's on. This is the official second studio album by DC rapper GoldLink. He, in my opinion, is a really dope rapper. He has made many good songs. Back when he first started off back in 2017, I want to say. But with that being said, personally, y'all, I don't know about you guys, but personally, I can kind of forgive all the shit he said about Mac Miller out of pity and whatnot. But if there's one thing that I will absolutely not forgive in this world, is the fact that this album fucking exists and how it fucking turned out. Like, God damn it, GoldLink. What the fuck happened? Now, I got into GoldLink back in 2017. I was fresh out of high school. I was in desperate need and search of some new music and some new artists to get into. And you know, the homie Jordan actually got me into GoldLink by showing me one of his famous songs, probably his most famous songs out there, entitled "Crew" with Brent Fayez and Shai Khaleesi, I believe. You know, that had a really dope chorus. You know, had just a lot of like great verses in general, and you know, like it was one of the songs that, you know, kept me going throughout 2017 because it was just something very unique. And ever since then, I've been getting very deep into GoldLink's discography and actually found myself falling in love with two particular projects that he's dropped. One of them was GoldLink's second mixtape that dropped in 2015 entitled And After That We Didn't Talk. It is a very like sad sort of like, you know, like narrative constructive album, you know, like GoldLink talking about heartbreak and everything, you know, talking about his, you know, his relationships and, you know, just how it was like on and off and stuff like that. You know, that album was really dope. You know, it wasn't really much of a sad boy shit. You know, it kind of reminded me of like an alternative version of Kanye West, 808s and Heartbreak. And then after that, I really got into the 2017 mixtape that he dropped entitled At What Cost. You know, that was actually one of my favorite albums from 2017. You know, like it was everything that I wanted, you know, and it just truly, those two projects just gave me like some of the best rap music that I've heard in 2017. I truly have been enjoying GoldLink's music for a very long time now. You know, he definitely is a great rapper. You know, he's a very creative genius. You know, he is one of the most unique rappers of our generation right now. And personally, at the time with hearing At What Cost and After That We Didn't Talk, you know, I just personally, like, it seemed that GoldLink was definitely, you know, creating a new wave for hip hop. You know, he definitely was in the process of, you know, trying to change the way hip hop would be heard for a very long time. And although it was a very different album from his first three mistakes, and it is absolutely not a perfect album at all, I gotta say that last year's Diaspora, which was GoldLink's official debut studio album, definitely showed some promise and a lot of potential, and got me kind of excited to see what GoldLink was gonna be able to do with this new style. You know, this new sound of him. You know, it definitely looked like GoldLink was in the process of making like something that's very genre bending, and you know, something that'll like change hip hop forever. Unfortunately, this new album was very downhill. It was very highly disappointing, unfortunately. Now, I don't know what GoldLink is on, you know, I don't know if a fucking demon got inside of him, you know, it sounds like the fucking demon that got inside Miley Cyrus and Katy Perry and Adele found its way into fucking GoldLink, because I do not know what he was thinking when he made this project. You know, this has to be probably the worst rap project I've heard all year. And that's really saying something, because I'm the one that fucking like talks so much shit about Turquoise Tornado on my Instagram. You know, that album with Yellow Wolf and Riff Raff. You know, I talked so much shit about that album, and it's like I feel bad now, because fucking like Turquoise Tornado sounds like a fucking masterpiece compared to whatever this fucking album was supposed to be. Now, from my perspective, it seems that GoldLink was really trying to make a rap album that is as unique and if not better than what Tyler Creator dropped with Igor back in 2019, I believe. Igor is a very, very like great alternative, rap album. It was one of my favorite albums of 2019. I personally loved Igor. And unfortunately with this album, GoldLink doesn't even like not even this much go close to like the high expectations and just the high quality that Igor had. Just like in Igor, GoldLink does come through with a very like weird like sort of edited filtered voice to make him sound like a lot more like weirder, just trying to like make him sound a bit more unique, I guess, kind of like what Tyler did, and kind of like what the Suicide Boys did with Stop Staring at the Shadows. He definitely like tried going out to the box, but honestly half the time I'm sorry, half the time I just can't really understand what the fuck he's saying or just what the fuck is going on throughout the whole album. It kind of sounds like GoldLink recorded this whole project like on his iPhone on a very crappy like iPhone 3 or some shit. Like that's how like bad quality his voice is in most of the songs. I can't believe I'm saying this, but GoldLink managed to do something a lot more worse than what Kodak Black did when he fucking made that song with A$AP Rocky on the Testing album, when Kodak was in jail and he was fucking rapping over the fucking phone. It was like I like don't understand like what the purpose of this like weird distorted voice of his, and I thought it was just gonna be me being a fucking judgmental asshole that didn't like the voice, but I've heard many people both on his Instagram and on YouTube and just everywhere on websites like personally like have big complaints about his voice. Like it was not a good fucking choice. Also, GoldLink has this sort of like high-pitched voice to him throughout the whole album. I guess it's sort of him trying to do his more like hype or sort of like aggressive voice to this album. But like half the time, not even half the time, most of the time, it just makes him sound obnoxious as fuck. Like it gets kind of annoying real fucking quick. There's maybe one or two tracks on here by himself that I could kind of tolerate his voice for a bit. I can like kind of like put a few words here and there, but besides that, the entire project and just his voice and everything was just very irritating, just very frustrating for me to listen to. I like rewind so many songs like 3 fucking times just to see if I can get a better feel to it, and it's like it got so frustrating. Even I shit y'all not, like on Apple Music I tried to look at the lyrics to see if I can like follow along, and half the time Apple Music doesn't even know what the fuck is going on. It's like it was a very unfortunate like disappointment that this album turned out this way, which is really unfortunate because unlike other people that have talked about this project, I personally really loved the production value on this album. I thought it was great. I thought they definitely like took the right steps to try and make this album sound like a very unique rap album. I loved all the like pop punk vibes in the beginning, like the first 2 tracks. I loved all like the grunge shit. I just personally loved like how weird the production value sounds. It has a lot of weird sounds, and I love when weird shit gets into music. And it's just unfortunate that the big major part that makes me not even want to even consider anyone to listen to this album is the fact that GoldLink himself just fucking ruins it like 99% of the time with his voice. The scary part about this album is that I don't think in any of these like songs were mixed poorly, or besides the voices, I don't think any of the production was mixed poorly or like like done by mistake. It feels like a very authentic and like well-intended album, and that makes it a lot more worse because besides the production, GoldLink definitely was very serious about that voice. And I just don't understand why take that direction with this particular album. I'm not saying that experimental albums shouldn't exist. They do exist. Some of them don't turn out as great, but some of them do turn out amazing, if not decent. I've heard many experimental albums where artists take a genre and do something weird to it, give it a little bit of a twist, and half the time it works out really well. And then there's that tiny little like 5 or 10% that, you know, of those experimental albums that just don't turn out as you expect them to be. They turn out a lot more worse than you expect them to be. And this album right here is definitely living proof of it. And I really hate to say it, but for me, the decent parts of this album were the many features on here that sort of carried it. It was kind of like in Floor Seats 2 with ASAP Ferg, where it just felt like he was being carried by the features, because personally I didn't like love ASAP Ferg in Floor Seats 2 as much as I loved him in Floor Seats 1. But only I will say that Floor Seats 2 again sounds like a fucking masterpiece compared to this one. GoldLink was definitely getting carried by the features on here, and it's not even fucking funny. For example, NLE Choppa did a very amazing job in the beginning track of the album entitled Extra Clip. NLE Choppa has definitely been impressing me lately. He definitely held his own right there. In my opinion, his like little verse, like during the last few like seconds of the song were very fucking great. And it just sucks. It sucks that the beginning track is my personal favorite track and is the shortest track on here. I wish that it was a lot more longer, because I definitely would have loved to just hear just NLE Choppa on it. It's just, you know, it sucked that GoldLink kind of like, made me not want to hear the album at all, but I stayed because NLE Choppa showed fucking promise, and I was hoping that after the first track it would, like, be a bit decent, but unfortunately it didn't. Flo Mili also did a very phenomenal job on the track entitled Raindrops. It's a very beautiful and soulful song, mostly because of Flo Mili's like great and beautiful voice in the chorus. I think Flo Mili did a very good job. I think this is the one of two tracks where GoldLink is a bit tolerable. He still has that sort of like obnoxious voice, but you can kind of understand his voice a little bit, like kind of like interpret a few words here and there. So I really did appreciate that, like this one beautiful song that a lot of people have seemed to agree that it's a really good song as well. And finally, I found myself generally enjoying the final few tracks of the album. These include the tracks entitled Culture Clash, Wayne Perry, and Wild and Lethal Trash, I believe is what that song is called. All of these three songs have a feature with two of really great talented British rappers, and those were Fire and LukeyWorld, I believe that's how you pronounce them. They seem like very like underground, underrated artists, and they definitely like came back to bring that fucking like old school like grunge scene that doesn't really get that much attention, unfortunately. The grunge and just hip hop scene in England is very fucking dope. And like there are certain rappers that are from London that don't really like, they don't really like get that much recognition, unfortunately. And they're extremely talented. And these three songs show it. I personally love this like few like final segments of the album, and it's mostly because of those two rappers that truly like like gave me some new vibes and just like a new like sound that I have been looking for. These, I wish that the album was more like this, because I felt that I and many other people would have enjoyed it a lot more better if it was like this. But I gotta say that for an album that was, I guess, supposed to portray and reflect GoldLink's rage at the time, during when George Floyd died and just during the riots and whatnot, because it seems that this album has a lot of rage in it, and it's definitely like the type of shit you were here to like want to start a riot and whatnot. But for an album that's supposed to be about that, GoldLink doesn't really add like too much of that in this album. It seems like very like typical rapper shit. Like talking about lust and everything. Bitches and whatnot. Like it just didn't really like stay true to what the album is supposed to be about, unfortunately. This album had so much potential to be a very unique rap project. I feel that if GoldLink like took it a lot more slow, took himself a lot more serious, like I don't mind him having fun and being experimental, but it's like on an album like this where it's supposed to be about like his like raging reactions to George Floyd dying and just like the riots and whatnot, I feel that it should have been either a lot more serious, or it could have been a lot more, clear from the start of what the album was supposed to be about. The album just had so much potential to just be a very like great and unique rap project, and unfortunately it lacks many things. It lacks so many things, and a big part to blame is GoldLink, unfortunately. Like I said, GoldLink is the main reason why I find myself not enjoying this project. And as of now, I don't know how I feel about the next GoldLink project. If it's gonna be more shit like this, then I think we can all unfortunately say that GoldLink is probably past its prime, and we'll probably never get to hear albums like "And After That We Didn't Talk" and "At What Cost," and even Diaspora. As much as a lot of people didn't really like Diaspora, I gotta say Diaspora is a very great album compared to this one. So yeah, that's my personal opinion about it. I hate sounding negative, but on an album like this, I really can't sugarcoat and try to find something positive about it. So yeah, with that being said, I am still struggling to give this album a 4 out of 10. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed my review. What did you guys think about this album? Have you heard it? Did you love it? Did you hate it? What are your favorite tracks? What are your least favorite tracks? Please let me know in the comment section down below. I would love to hear your opinions. And with that being said, don't forget to like, subscribe, click that button below, all that good stuff, and don't forget to stay happy.
It's like I'm living a dream, that's how to reach. I've been cooking like Walter and Jesse Pink. It's exhausting trying to be a prodigy. Past deep.